Hey everyone, it's Michelle Vina-Baltsas. I'm not sure who's going to be joining me for this quick talk on just a couple of tips that I wanted to share with you because I'm sensing that there are some new people in the group or some people that are new to intuitive eating and that they may need some encouragement. So I wanted just to drop in and give you some quick tips on how you can kind of get out of a rut or lift your vibe, raise your vibe a little bit around this because let's face it, not every day is or not every hour is going to be perfect. This is just life. And it is just the way that it is sometimes. And that's just not when we're doing intuitive eating. That's just life in general. But relating to intuitive eating, I wanted to share some things with you that have really helped me in the past and also just in my present day life to help me feel better when I'm not feeling so great. So I will be looking down occasionally because I scribbled down some notes this morning when I impulsively decided to do this live, which I'm really happy to be doing. So I hope that you do take the time to listen because it's going to be good. So, if you're not feeling so great about intuitive eating because you're new to it or because even if you've been doing it for some time, and you just feel like maybe I'm not getting it, maybe I'm really not embracing this the way that I thought I would be. And, that may be because you're not feeling great about the foods you're eating, or because perhaps you've gained some weight, or because you're just not seeing some of the changes or feeling the way that you want to. It's understandable. So a couple of things I want to say, and one of them is when you really feel like you need extra support, I encourage you to post in the group. And hopefully if, other people are around and happen to see it in their feed, they will respond or just maybe give a like or a hug or whatever. But we need to keep supporting one another. And the more we post, the way I understand Facebook is the more we post and the more interaction we have, the more things you'll see in your feed. I think that's how it works, but I'm not 100% sure, but I don't know. It sounds good to me, so that's what I'm going with. So more engagement will, I believe, allow you to see more of the posts. So I encourage you to post when you need support. If it's something you specifically have a question for me about, feel free to tag me. I don't have Facebook on my phone anymore. In fact, I was a couple of minutes late to this live call because I had to reinstall the app because I was on Facebook too often and it just isn't good for me. So as a form of self-care, I have removed I have removed Facebook from my phone, but I do check my computer often to respond to anything that pops up in the group. So I encourage you to post and know that the answers are coming soon. But I am not the only one who can respond. Others can too. So I encourage you to support your sisters in the group. And if you see something and you have something you want to add, or even if you don't have any words of advice, sometimes just saying, I hear you, I see you, I understand, I'm right there with you, or I remember when I was there. Those words can be so heartwarming, especially when you need them. So that's the first thing, is to post to the group when you need support. The other thing is grab whatever resources you have in terms of books, Kindle, whatever it is. I cannot speak highly enough of the Intuitive Eating book, which is the Bible, of course, of intuitive eating. But you'd be surprised how many people haven't read it. And there's no shame in that. I'm just making a point that it's a really good book. So you might want to pick up a copy, go to your library or whatever, grab a copy because there's some great stuff in there. Very, very important to really understand that intuitive eating is more than just a hunger and fullness diet. Intuitive eating is an umbrella, and underneath that umbrella, there are many, many things that you will experience. So I encourage you to read the book because it talks about all of them. It also talks about the phases of intuitive eating and what you can expect in your journey. And that's very, very important to know because let's face it, going through something blindly is a little bit scary. And so they knew that and they kind of outlined that all for you, which is really nice. So education is, for me, has helped me dramatically to understand that I'm not alone. And also to understand what I can expect is very reassuring, especially during those times when I am like, what the hell is going on? And is this normal? So you know what to expect. The third one is, and this is huge, is to focus on the little bits of freedom that you are starting to observe in terms of how you are interacting with food. And I know that they might be very, very subtle, but if you look closely enough, I can pretty much guarantee you're going to start to see some. Maybe not like in the initial weeks, because the initial weeks, a lot of times it's just like a lot of eating because you're really giving yourself, that permission to eat. And it can just seem like a food frenzy and like it's a little bit chaotic, but know that it's going to change. So focus on the freedom that you will soon have if you don't have it right now. And again, look for those very, very subtle signs that freedom is starting to come in little bits and pieces. Remembering that this is a process and there are many, many little steps along the way. Sometimes you'll take big steps and sometimes you'll take little baby steps, but remembering that those baby steps really count. So again, focusing on the freedom and not the fact that you feel. And try not to focus on the fact that you might feel heavier. Maybe your stomach is upset because you're reintroducing a lot of foods that you may not have allowed yourself to have before. So just be patient in that process. Again, focusing on the freedom and not necessarily how you feel in your body if you're feeling bogged down. The other thing that I do often is I collect a lot of stuff on Pinterest, because I think it's awesome. So I will put a link here in the comments to my Intuitive Eating 101 board. I have a lot of other inspirational boards, so I'll just give you a link to my Pinterest and then you can grab whatever you want just to check it out. I also have a high vibe board, so like when I'm feeling low, I go on that board and I read inspirational quotes and things like that, and it lifts me right up. So maybe go on Pinterest and make your own high vibe board, and collect stuff all over that makes you feel good and that will lift your spirits. Don't just, use mine. You can start there, get some ideas, but make one of your own, I also have a board just for funny things. So I have tons of body positive stuff. And again, educating yourself and continuing to read about this topic, about improving body image and about body neutrality and about intuitive eating. All of these things are going to feed your soul, especially when you're not feeling so great. The other thing is to give back. I always find that when I'm low, I feel better when I am in service to others, and giving back is one way to help raise me up. And so you do it because it feels good for you and it also helps someone else. So really it's a win-win situation. So that's another, put your hand out. When you're feeling like crap, put your hand out and someone's going to grab it and they're going to reach out and you're going to benefit from that. So that's another thing. Move your body when you're not feeling so great. I always find that any type of movement really, really helps me. And it could be something as simple but as enjoyable as walking my puppy, and I find that just the fresh air, it gets in my lungs and I look around at the trees and the grass and everything else. And yeah, the issue might still be there, but I will say that the intensity diminishes significantly. So move your body. There's an expression I learned many, many years ago in Overeaters Anonymous, and that is move a muscle, change a thought. So in whatever way that is, if you can't get out because it's raining, whatever, we've been having a lot of rain here on the East Coast. If I don't feel like going out in the rain, I will unload the dishwasher, or I'll fold some laundry, or I'll do something just to get myself moving. It always helps me. The other thing is have faith. I know it's so much easier said than done, but having faith that you're not always going to be in this place. Specifically if you're new to intuitive eating, or like I always say, even if you've been doing this for a while and you're just not where you want to be, it's having patience and also having faith that it will turn around, that things will not always be this way. And I know when you're in it, it's so hard to believe that. But when I first started doing intuitive eating, I was like, what the hell am I doing? I just could not stop eating. And I was so terrified. And I didn't have anyone at that, in the very beginning stages to say to me, it's going to get better. It's not always going to be this way. And when I decided that I needed someone there to cheer me on, that's when I sought help. That's when I got support, because I felt in my heart that if I didn't get support, I was not going to be able to continue on my own. It was just too difficult. And when I started doing this years ago, there weren't support groups like there are now. It's very different. But the support groups might not be enough for you. You may need that person to connect with on a fairly regular basis to help you, to boost you up, and also to help you to see where you're making progress, and to continue to encourage you and help you tweak things along the line. The other thing is that it's important to remember that in addition to the faith, I am a firm believer that if someone else can have what I want, then I can have it too. If someone else has been successful in whatever, that I can have the same. And that's faith, but it's also trusting that that's just the way the universe works. That if something is put on your heart and you want it that bad, the universe is going to find a way for you to have it. So just keep going, because it can be yours too. If you admire that in somebody else, it means you have that inside of you also. So know that you do and trust that. Even though it's hard sometimes, I get it. I freaking have to talk to myself like this every day because it's not easy. But the truth is, I believe it in my heart, and so I know that it can happen. And the last thing which I kind of talked about just really briefly is to get support, and that can come in many different ways. You have the group, which I talked about before, to support your sisters, and also to support your sisters by, when they post when you're struggling, and also post when you have a success. It could be something as simple as, I didn't overeat at lunch today. I paid attention to my hunger signals and I ate when I was hungry. I honored my hunger. Or, I've gone X amount of days honoring my fullness. Freaking awesome. Hello? If you overate every single day, for the past, year, 2 years, or whatever it was, for me it was decades, and then all of a sudden, you had a couple of days back to back when you weren't overeating or eating past your fullness. Hello? But that's something to freaking celebrate. So that is awesome. And post away, because not only are you saying to the universe that I acknowledge that this is working and that something is changing in me, you are also inspiring others that they can also see this change. So it all kind of comes around, So don't think that it's silly that, you were able to eat to your fullness and only have half a sandwich instead of a whole sandwich, or you were able to eat 2 cookies as opposed to 10 cookies like you used to do before, or whatever it is, or you were able to go to the gym and exercise and not be obsessing about the number that you saw on the elliptical with all the calories you were burning, and you didn't give a shit. You know what? Those are awesome things, and that's movement forward. And we need to celebrate every single one of those things. None of them are too small. So post away. It inspires others. It lifts you up. And it's that thing I was talking about before, putting a hand out for someone else, because people are inspired by that. So do it. And please never think that it's too small, because it never is. And as soon as I get on and see it, I will celebrate you, and so will others. That's all I have. And the last thing about support, like I said, blah, blah, I'm getting off on a tangent. Get support in the groups, post. Also, I don't advertise it a lot, but some of you know that I have an online course that if you've tried to read the intuitive eating book and it's been difficult for you to get through, for some people they do find it a little heavy. There's a lot of research in there. I compiled the intuitive eating book and also another book by Linda Bacon and Lucian Poor called Body Respect, and I put them into an online 4-week class with the Daily Ohm. It's super affordable, like ridiculous affordable, and it gets you through it summarizes both of these books, and it also has homework. So it's very, very helpful. It's something you could easily purchase. Again, I will put a link in the comments, but it's done extremely well. And people that have taken it have really felt very supported by it. It helps to clarify a lot of some of the things that people don't talk about a lot with intuitive eating. It also goes through the phases again, so you know what to expect. And I think it's worth it. It's doing so well that I was contacted by a UK company, and I'm going to be converting it so it will be now on another platform as well, which is very exciting that more people are going to be exposed to intuitive eating in more of a do-it-yourself way, which is perfectly fine, whatever works for you. So that is another level of support that you can get. If you want to explore one-on-one options and you feel that you need that level of support, please know that I'm here for you. I have many different packages that you can, not many, but I have a few that you can choose from. And sometimes just talking to someone, a trained professional, 1 or 2 times just to kind of get you on the right track is all you need. So know that I'm here for that also. I think that my list is exhausted. I had 9 points and I talked about them all. I hope that this is helpful for some of you, and this will be good for really anyone just starting out or anyone who's doing intuitive eating and is just having some difficulties. So that's all. Feel free to let me know how you're feeling, and if you feel that you need some more support, or if you want some other things, or you think some other things would be helpful to have in the group, I'm happy to listen to them and absolutely consider them, because this is your safe space also. And one of my objectives is to make it a great experience for you to be here. So thank you for listening. Again, this is Michelle Vina-Baltsas. I probably didn't say that in the beginning. I'm saying it now. If you want to know more about my programs, it's www.michelleVinabaltsas.com. I will also put that link below. And thanks. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk again soon. Bye.